good morning. Just breathing. I have been thinking about sharing some relationship experiences. Let me look at something. Just to let you know where I'm at, let you know some things that I'm experiencing as possible. But before I do that, I want to share where I'm at because I'm somewhere in my feelings. I've been thinking about relationships, permanence, like long-term relationships. This feeling of like if it's I have this longing, I have this like I was thinking, do I believe that like this desire to meet a man, to be in a committed relationship, to have someone, in that, is there a sense of it will solve something? That was my pondering last week, I think. I was thinking maybe this will be all over the place, and at the same time beautifully it will just tie together. I was talking to someone about it, and he said that maybe it stems from when we're young, like kids, because we don't have the same concept of time. We don't really have a concept of time. Everything is just eternal, it's forever. And that's not a conscious idea, it's just how it is. That's reality as kids. When we're kids, it's just days last forever, summer lasts forever. It has such a unique flavor to it for me, and I think it's both good and bad. When something's bad, it's bad forever. When it's good forever. When summer's over, it's like this, you have to go back to school, it's this loss. It's like it ended forever, even though summer's coming back next year. Maybe it ties into the relationship with our parents as well, that they are your forever, they are there forever. It's like they are the ones you belong to. I didn't think about this, I'm thinking about this now. Like how when my youngest sister and her baby, when he cries and the only one who can console him is her mom, it's like the eternal safety, it's the forever, it's the I belong to this, I belong to her, I am safe with her. It's a union of sorts. And I keep feeling, or I was thinking, like if I'm longing for that feeling to be fulfilled, or I don't know if it's even that's such a weird thing, because am I wanting to fulfill that feeling, or is it just that that feeling is present and it can't be no more? I'm very not clear. I'm confused about that. I feel like maybe it's something that it's like a hungry ghost in a way. Or maybe it's just part of yearning, and yearning's like something to tap into, it's something to feel, it's something to experience in and of itself, but maybe it's also a direction, you know, maybe it's also something that leads the way to experiences and moments. Maybe those moments make up something. I had a session with a client, and we were talking about the relationship between me and him. And he is one of the people I know with the deepest sense of ownership and the deepest sense of commitment and the deepest sense of forever. He is a very beautiful man. And hearing him talk about that, or having the conversation we had, it for a moment, it put me in touch with, it's possible to have forever with someone. I felt in that moment it's possible, and I never, as I can remember, felt that. Maybe I felt that with my first boyfriend when I was 18, 19. And I was convinced that was forever. I believed that. And when it didn't, it really shattered something. It shattered my own trust in myself. Like, I thought this was forever, and it wasn't. It was a lie. I can't trust myself. I can't trust the forever. Which is actually quite sad when I think about it. But feeling that with my client, that it's possible to have companionship like that. I'm still I talked to another friend about that experience, and he was like, so does it change anything for you in regards to relationship? And I'm like, I don't think it has sunken in yet. So I will wait until it sinks in before I can say something about that. And I'm realizing now it's still like floating in the periphery of my consciousness, or maybe it's inside my consciousness, but it's like encapsulated. So I'm not really impacted by it in a way, except I knew I felt it. So I have like the memory of the feeling. But I've also been thinking lately that I don't feel like putting all my focus into, is this person my one and forever? Is this person my one and forever? Like finding that one and forever. Somehow that feels too heavy. And I had this, I don't know, I can't remember, but I had this thought or feeling, knowing that, you know what, I'll just have myself. I'll just take really good care of myself and not put that aside, that it can be forever, trying to find that, trying to build that, because can it even be built? Like, and what's the longing, like, unclear. So I will just figure out what I want, what I need, what will fill me up, what will satiate me, what will give me those experiences that nourishes me, that like I need to eat. It's that feeling, I need to eat. So what do I want to eat? What am I hungry for? Satiation. Yeah. And I felt like when I put that aside, just focus on me. And it doesn't mean not take the other person into account. That's not at all. It's just the here and now more, not the forever, not long term. Which is really interesting because now I'm remembering the one session I had where my therapist said, or my practitioner said, can it be one moment at a time? You don't have to know the answers, you don't have to make promises, you don't have to, oh, I say this now so it has to be this later. Can it be just, I say this now and it's now? I don't know how I will feel later. And that felt like such relief. That was a really, really deep session when I think about it. So maybe that's coming more online. And like I'm listening to The Way of the Superior Man by Deida, and he talks about how a woman changes second by second, minute by minute, moment by moment. And she can be, and then he also talks about like how, I told you this will be all over the place. He talks about how, so maybe a man asks his woman, like, how are you feeling? And in that moment she was good. But then she tries to put words on it. And some things cannot be put words on. So now she's like, it can just be experienced and shared. And now she has to put words on it. Now she's frustrated. And so then she's like, I'm feeling really good. But actually now I'm feeling frustrated and I'm angry with you. He's like, oh, okay. He changed so fast. And it can change that fast, So really, going for those experiences that will nourish me, satiate me and I have so much flexibility and freedom. I can go whatever, wherever, to whomever. And then the thought hit me, but I really need to trust them to experience those things. And then I was like, no, actually. Well, yes and no. But I will be clear about, I want this thing. And for this thing, for me to be able to take that, to have that, I will need this, and this. Can you give that? And I will not listen to their words. I will know within myself if they can or cannot. And if I feel like they can, I will still hold myself in the experience. I will give myself maybe, but hold myself at the same time. So it's not I'm not really dependent upon you showing up. Like, I am. But I'm also not. If they don't show up, if they do something wrong, which they will not because I've perceived them and discerned them, but if they do, I will not have let myself into like those parts of me that is dependent upon the other person to show up, to not hurt me. I'll pack up and leave, kind of. More that protective energy. And that feels, when I felt that felt really good to me. And it also, I'm thinking like having both, I'll just go for what I want and take care of myself. And whoa, I had this feeling that permanence is possible, forever is possible. So I wanted to share that. That's a unique, special place to be in. I feel like lonely, sovereign, quite heavy. I feel quite. It feels like being pulled down, like somber almost. I don't know, sad, painful. Those are not really the right words, although those energies are in it. It's almost like, yeah, lonely maybe is the best word. But it's also this feeling of I have myself. There's some. I got myself. That's the feeling also. And that was a thought, if I'm backtracking to the beginning, when I was talking about this childhood, like you don't have perception of time, and this longing for this foreverness. I wonder if it's I wonder if that feeling is connected to my own disconnection and connection with myself. If there's so much space between the parts inside myself and the parts inside, that it's just a strong frequency or energy of missing each other, missing myself. And also the dance with someone else. I think that's really something special too. Not one or the other, like both. So David talks about in The Way of the Superior Man. And I really like how I can listen to him and his voice. And some people, when they talk, they give off so much. It's like all their experience is packed in their words, and then they use their voice and their words to give all that experience into me. So it fills me up like that. But he talks about 3 stages of man, or not men, but man, but also men, people. And one stage is not better than the other. It's like it's just developmental stages kind of, and maybe it's also about you can play with each stage. There's good and bad in both, or all of them. But the first one is like being focused on yourself, your own needs. I get this from that. And then the second stage, man, is like the therapy communication. When you say that, I feel that. Oh, when you say that, I feel that. And really cooperating, but taking care of oneself. And then the third stage, man, is maybe that's what people will call like divine union. I don't know. It's like playing, being in service of something higher. It's the playing life together, kind of. And it's much more expressive. It's like art. He calls it art. And it's so tempting to me, this. He uses so many examples of like a man approaching his woman from like a timid place, wanting to have sex, but he's like apologetic about it, or weak about it. And he asks like the women in the audience, like, how would you feel if your man approached you like that? Would you be turned on? And the women, they're like, no. And he's like, no, it's most likely not no. It's most likely like, yuck, like, ugh, get away from me. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you weak piece of shit. Why are you having no spine? And I hate you in this moment. Like, all this expression, all this life coming through her. And for like, that's third stage relationship. Her being able to, or her choosing to express her truth in the moment, and him being able to receive her in the moment, and to hold the knowing that they are loved together, that they are, her expression is not a threat to the relationship. Quite the contrary, it's the life of the relationship. In this moment, my woman is this, you know, and to fully, it's like a hunger for it. And I talked to my practitioner about this, and I think we had like a really deep process, and I was like slowly coming out of it, and I had like this part come up, or this reaction that I'm burdened, like I'm too much. All this, you had to sit here and hold space for me for what, 90 minutes, and I'm just like, you must be bored, you must be like waiting to do something else. Like, I feel like a burden. And he's like, no, are you? No. It doesn't, it's completely not how he feels. He's like, and it's still hard for me to it's really hard for me to take in, actually, because it has to do with being wanted. He's like, this, being able to, being allowed into, like, being here with you, it gives me something. I think that it really hit something in me, like being wanted in that way, because I think I want that so much, and it fucking terrifies me at the same time, like believing that, because I think if I believe that, I will really want it, and I will really ask for it, kind of like demand it in a way, which opens me up for rejection. And what if I'm leaning into that, and then I get all the shit that I got from my mom, probably like, who do you think you are? I don't want you. Like that, push away that rejection. And I like the judgment of, because I said demanding, I will demand. I was holding back, like the word expectation. I would expect. You shouldn't expect, you know, which maybe is not true. Maybe it's just about being honest about your expectations, being on the same page with them. But what came to mind when I said this was this demand of him, or if I can have that, then I want him to fucking be there. But that will be like calling him in. That's what I will be doing. And for a man who wants that, who wants to be in his truth, who wants to be in his potential, who wants to be in his fullness, my mind can see that will be like, if she doesn't do that, I'm not here for it, kind of. So that's what he is here for. That constant, like, coming back to the moment, coming back to the truth, coming back to where, here, you and me, be here with me. So grasping that on this level, let's wait until you can kind of more feel that. But that's, now I'm getting to the experiences that I've had. So this, all of this has been like in my, in myself, in my body, in my awareness, in my system. And so then I have been on 3 dates with a guy. Really like him. Such a great man. And there's something about him that makes me feel like I can play with sides of myself that I haven't really accepted, that I really maybe didn't know even was there, that I didn't know was okay. There's much more potential for play with him, which is the third stage man, like the art, the play. And I'm going to cry again, I think. On the last time we met on Sunday, we were having coffee, and then we were talking about something, and I started crying. Like really crying. And he looked at me, and he's like, I love when you cry. Tears are beautiful. And I don't have pity for you. It's not that. I just love when you cry. I'm crying more now, of course. And he sits there and he looks at me, and it's like he looks at me in reverence, and he's like, can I lick your tears? And I'm laughing at this point. I'm like looking at him like, are you joking with me? I don't know, should I take you seriously? Maybe I feel shame, like, really? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm about to like, I think let my shame decide. Like, no, I don't want to lean into that. But then I'm like, why lean into that? Lean into that. And I'm like, okay. He stands up. He walks over to me. He holds my hand, like he takes his hands on my face, and he holds my face, and he licks my tears. And I don't know, maybe some will see that as disgusting, but to me that was like, I'm wanted. I'm wanted to such a degree. He's licking my tears off my face. And he tastes my tears and he's like, And I'm just like, I am not disgusting to him. I am not repulsing. I'm not repelling. He just said, you taste delicious. I'm like, wow. And then we talk, we continue talking, and at some point he's saying something about, he said something that like me having a lot of walls and I should not have the walls. I should, so what do you do? Like, because I said, whatever. He said, so you keep building more walls and more walls and more walls. And I got upset because he doesn't recognize the truth of what I'm doing. I'm trying, I'm opening up, I'm getting hurt. Yes, it strengthens the wall, like cutting into the same fucking scar tissue. It will become like a really strong scar at some point. And the only way to deal with that is with softness, gentleness, love, not fucking cut it open again. So he's saying this, and I'm like, that's a misunderstanding of who I am, what I'm committed to, what I've done, and what I'm doing. So I'm getting angry. So what do? I'm choosing honesty, and I'm like, I'm getting really angry right now. He's like, okay. I'm like, yeah, I'm pissed now. He's like, okay, tell me. And I'm choosing in that moment to just, okay, I'll go for it. So I'm like, okay, first of all, fuck you. He's like, all right. And I'm like, second of all, and I lecture him, like I explain, you think this, but the reality is this. So I don't like when you say this. He's like, I hear you. I hear you, that's fair. You want to express some more? And I'm like, do I? Yeah, actually I do. I hate this shit. He's like, oh, you hate it, do you? And there's this playful, sensual, like, not sexual, but sensual. And it's this, like, he's not scared. He is not fragile. He is welcoming. And he's welcoming not because he should listen and be a good guy. Like, there's none of that. It's like, there's no timidness in him. It's more like, okay, she's angry now. That it stirs life in me. Give that to me. Let me have that. While also not losing me, and that's my truth in the moment. He's not losing sight of me while being, it's really something, because there's another man, like some time ago, because there's all these men. And I told him, I had like a moment of I was so angry, and I was like, I'm not tolerating this anymore. And I was like, you know what? Fuck you. And he got so angry. He's like, shut the conversation, So that's completely different. Do I want the first reaction? No, thanks. Do I want the second? Yes, please. Yes. And another thing I wanted to share as well, because me and this non-monogamy path I'm exploring, and how the first men, the first 1, 2, 3, first 3 men were really not open to non-monogamy, to trying, to exploring that with me. And my practitioner, we talked about it, and he's like, well, you're wobbly within yourself, there's like all this stuff coming up, so you're not clear, so you get like all sorts of weird when the possibility is to get someone who's really on board, who wants this for his own reasons. And I'm kind of like trying to open my mind to why he's saying that it's possible, all that shit. And then I matched with someone on Hinge a few weeks ago, 2, I don't know. And we're talking, and at some point we're getting to that point in the conversation, like open relationship, non-monogamy, sex with other people. Then I'm learning he had an open relationship with his last partner, the mom of his kids. So he has some experience with that. But then, which is a surprise, but then the big surprise comes. He's like, actually, it really turns me on knowing my woman is fucking another man. It turns me on. Like, I want that. Even better, can I watch that? And it's such a stark contrast. And I'm saying this because, like, the possibility, I just experienced, like, and I felt in his voice, like, knowing you're out there being fucked by someone else. And how much like, how healing would that be? Like, he likes that, he wants that, compared to what I've been doing so far. Like, I'm fucking crippled by guilt. I'm going on a date with someone else when I'm talking with my main guy, or whatever you want to call it, and I'm like, I'm guilty, I feel bad, I'm hurting him, I'm the reason for his pain. All this stuff is going on. So different. And another guy I matched with very recently as well, I just brought up today, like open relationship. And he's like, interesting. I've been thinking about that too. I'm like, what? This is... And the guy I was on the last 3 dates with as well, we've had that, he's open to that. He told me when we talked about it on Sunday, he's like, because I so there's something about him that makes women like light up, like sensual wise, sexual wise. And I'm like, we had like the waitress, she was pretty, like she was really cute. And then she talks to him and he holds eye contact with her like long, and I can feel in her, it's this like, oh okay, man in front of me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'm jealous now. I want her gone, get away. So I tell him, like, I think if we were together and we had like an open relationship, like non-monogamy, I would feel jealous, like quite jealous. I would, yeah. He's like, well, if you feel jealous, you shouldn't do it. And I'm like, no, you're not getting the point. I want to do this because that will come up. I want that. I want to feel that. I want to look at that. I want to unpack that. I want to not choose. That's such a fucking prison. I will not choose a monogamous relationship to avoid that feeling. That feeling fucking lives inside me. Flush it up, like, deal with it. I don't want to be imprisoned by that feeling. That's like, the feeling has a chokehold on me. I'm constricted within myself. It feels so restrictive. I can't even tell you. And that fear will be like permeating through my being. I don't want that. I want to feel so safe and secure and open and relaxed in my relationship. I also learned though, because he said, what was that conversation? I think it was in the like Cindy of me saying I was jealous. Maybe I said like that I would tell her to like fucking get off him. He's mine. And his reaction's just like, oh, that's delicious also. That you want me for yourself. Because my baseline here is like, I want to be so understanding. I'm the girlfriend that accepts everything. You know, if he is seeing someone else that night, so he's leaving to fuck someone else, I'm like, here's the condoms. I bought her roses. Take them. Please her. You know? I feel like I should be that girlfriend. I have tried to be that girlfriend. And I think because I'm seeing talking much more than I thought, I'm seeing two scenarios, because if he is in a relationship with someone else, I kind of want to like bring her into the family. I want to know who she is. I want to have like a good relationship with her. I want her to be a person, a woman in front of me. I want sisterhood in that. I don't want any like weird feelings. At the same time, I really like this, what he said, like I can be also like, bitch, no. Like, I've never had that experience in my life before. That it's okay to see, because as a man, I feel like there should all be sisters. We should all be on the same page. I don't want like a woman to be my enemy. But maybe the reality is that some women will not consider me. They will be coming for my man, kind of. And if that is the case, then it feels good to be like, fucking get your hands off. Leave. I can't. Why does that feel so good to me? I also feel like there's sadness. Maybe because we can't all just be friends. But so if I imagine now, I'm thinking, I didn't think about this beforehand, I'm thinking about this now. If the situation was reversed and someone, maybe if I imagine someone, a man, coming on to me and he's like kind of okay, but he's not really, I don't really want him. Or maybe he's even a tiny bit unpleasant in his energy somehow. And then if my man, if he would come up to me and be like, tell the guy to fuck off, like, she's mine, to really claim me that way. Oh. That feels so good. If it was someone I really liked and wanted, if I wanted to have an experience with them, I would not like it. It would make me pissed off. But I would trust him to have like discernment on that. To have like a really adequate gauge on the situation. Me and my niceness. He the 3-date guy. He's very handsome. He looks very good. he is going. So that this is a drawback. He's not done with his ex. So he's going back to see if they can have like a better closure than they had, because they didn't have closure after the breakup. So he's going back home. And he lives in a different, or he is from a different country. And this is me. Like, do you want to talk about how you can talk to her about this? Like, do you need help? And he's just like, no, I don't think I should rely on you to navigate that. And I need to learn how to have like these conversations by myself. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but, and me trying even more, like arguing why I can help him. And then it dawns on me, and I'm glad I caught that in a moment. And I'm like, or maybe actually it's good that you just do it alone and I don't get mixed in with her energy. He's like, I think so. And I'm like, yeah, actually I don't want to help. I'm kind of like wanting to be nice, and I want, in a way I want to help, but at the same time I don't. And to recognize that I don't, like, that's okay. I don't have to be involved with everything to be completely indisposable. Like, I think that's just my old pattern of, if I'm everything for him, he will want me more. But I think that's actually not the case. I think it's more appealing when I'm like not that, actually. I feel like I managed to get like 1,000 words out in 45 minutes. But yeah, I wanted to share that. Hoping it can help to kind of like, I don't know, either entertain you or give you a feeling or a sense of things are possible. Things are possible if you do your work. I mean, this is not free, you know. I'm working on myself weekly, if not daily, and not as in a chore, you know. I'm connecting with myself. I'm learning. I'm giving that to myself because that feels good. So yeah, if you feel like there's something you would like to work on, explore, if any of this is resonating, if it's intriguing, alluring, you're free to send me a message. Not on Facebook, on email. I have a booking page. You can find that. It's a link on my Facebook page. Yeah. I'm out. Have a good day.